Glad you guys have been enjoying the Warband games. I've got hopefully some more coming later this week. I'm going to see if I can grab some of the other players' games to showcase to you all. In the meantime, I've got this replay from Galruch versus Flying Taco. We got Khorne versus Chaos Dwarfs. Should be a very good game. Flying Taco has been really killing it lately with Chaos Dwarfs, so I'm excited to see what he can do. Yeah, Herald of Khorne for Galruch's Khorne. No, we got some Marauders up front, a couple of Bloodletters out on the far side, with some dual-hand weapon Marauders as well. Looks like 3 Minotaurs of Khorne with great weapons, so we're going to be looking for that sweet, sweet anti-large bonus, and just generally great AP against Chaos Dwarfs. We've got some Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, best melee missile cavalry in the game. They are definitely a true hybrid, and even skewing a little bit more to the melee side, but still with a decent armor-piercing shooting attack. Very decent indeed. Astrogoth, the Chad on the other side. Got multiple blunderbusses, looks like 2 fire glaives, so a lot of chaff, a lot of guns here. I like it quite a bit. We've also got some both Centaurs great weapons, 1 regular render in the center with the shields, and more great weapons out on the side. See how things shake out here. Yeah, the sort of column formation laborers plus the blunderbusses is designed to try and get units to shoot, basically show their back to the blunderbusses, right? Potentially get absolutely blasted. The blunderbusses' DPS at short range is insane, so let's see how they can do here. They're going to unload into these, oof, brutal volley into the Bloodletters as they advance here. The Marauders also kind of getting caught by the column. The column also somewhat intercepts the Bloodletters. You see, that's exactly what it's designed to do, stop their advance and show a nice big flank for the blunderbusses. I almost said thunderbusses, which would be something different entirely, but nonetheless pretty cool. Their tall hats won't save them in melee too much against the great swords of the Bloodletters. Quite a bloody and brutal engagement. Meanwhile, on the side here, the Centaurs just kind of mirroring some mobility. There is quite a bit for this rush still yet to land, so Flying Taco trying to concentrate his resources here in the center as much as he can. Full Centaurs get a cascading fire cloak, going to put them up to 72 melee defense as they try and hold out against these Minotaurs of Khorne here. You can see guns firing into this engagement as well. Both the Infernal Guard start to unload, as do these blunderbusses. Crumbling out, Bloodletters now can turn and start to focus fire on these Minotaurs that are nice and close. The Bull Centaurs definitely feeling the pain of that engagement, though, losing out pretty badly without doing much damage in return. This unit of Bull Centaurs as well is very bad engagement versus both Bloodletters and Minotaurs, just completely outclassed here in terms of melee quality. Bull Centaurs are great, but they're not going to stand up to like 2,000 points worth of angry Khorne stuff. They fall apart pretty quickly, and Flying Taco's basically left with just 1 Bull Centaur still healthy, which is definitely going to be a problem. He's got quite a few missiles left to defend here. You can see they're all kind of in a square, starting to get contacted here by Bloodletters. Oof, that Marauder Horseman ran in and just got smashed by the Bull Centaurs. The one that remains definitely making their presence felt here. A little cascading fire cloak as well, buffing the melee defense of those fire glaives up to 67 as they try and reposition. Multiple units collapsing on them. Yeah, things are looking a little bit hairy right now for the Chaos Dwarfs. Our horsemen charging through, and basically all of the missiles being occupied at this point. But Wily Taco's definitely not out of this yet. He, gonna get these fire glaives shooting into these fire glaives. This blunderbuss also pulls back to be able to fire into this engagement here, so even at short range, he's still able to get some good work done. Looks like, yeah, Herald must have got tangled up with Astrogoth at some point. He's taking some pretty serious damage. Lost leadership could come back to haunt Khorne if he does go down. Right now, it's doing okay. Going to be getting some healing from the Herald, or sorry, the Mount. What is that? The Blood Throne in melee. It's got the Gore Feast. So, can regenerate a little bit of HP in melee as it supports the Marauder Horsemen, give them some extra melee attack as they fight against the Infernal Guard, who get Tormentor Sword and Cascading Fire Cloak, so their defense is super high, attack is super low. Basically just going to be wet noodling for a minute as those effects transpire. But yeah, this 1 Bull Centaur managed to hold out, combined with the Fire Glaives. They break 1 unit of Minotaurs Another unit comes charging in, though, and still is quite healthy. Ooh, Laborers might be able to saturate and take up enough of that damage to help the Bull Centaurs get a decent engagement here, but it's not looking amazing. This Bloodletter is a little bit soloed out here. Does get a good charge onto those Bloodletters, or sorry, the Blunderbusses. But Cascading Fire Cloak there. Gonna help shore up their melee defense once more. And yeah, these missiles, Taco's done a nice job of continuing to pull them back in a position they can shoot, interrupting the things that are advancing on them, but even still, they've had a pretty hard time firing consistently. Yeah, I can see here this Bull Centaur down about 1,000 HP. I don't know, are they chasing? I think they're chasing these Minotaurs. Hard to tell a little bit. It's getting close. Yeah, I see a couple of the Bull Centaur models there. They kind of got strung out in a little bit of a weird way, so they got like 3v1'd. Yeah, that model's going to get clubbed right there, and they are done for. Their leadership is done. They are routed officially. And we've got one more Fireglaive here who's going to get the Spiteful Sword of Khorne. Some extra damage, disrupt the formation, allow the remaining Bloodletters to get in there and get some work done. Astrogoth throwing Cascading Fire Cloak on himself at this point. He's got a lot of heavy lifting to do. It is possible he can still win this for sure, but needs to get as much work done as he can while his units are still alive. Here he's going to fell a couple of Minotaurs. Continues to be battered by them, takes some damage. Good, he's going to pull out into space here, sees the Herald in a position where he can strike. Motorcycle's going to do a nice spinny attack animation, but Astrogoth is quite the combatant. If I pull up the health bars, you guys are going to see a few consecutive hits here. The Herald, of course, regenerating, but that on fire does reduce the amount of healing he's receiving. Not to mention, of course, flammable on contact from the Black Hammer, which is also going to increase weapon strength, as does Cascading Fire Cloak, and also gives Kindle Flame. So we're going to see maximum weakness to fire here as the Herald is going to get an absolute beats down. Taking a wider view, though, you can see that this is it. I mean, this is the last chance for the Chaos Dwarfs, is for Astrogoth to pull things out. He manages to win the most honorable duel against the Herald, as expected, but ultimately still has mainly this huge unit of Bloodletters to get through. I mean, there's almost 100 Bloodletters here. Still full health, and Astrogoth doesn't actually have any AoE damage. Really just brought buffs only. So it's going to struggle to finish off that unit of Bloodletters specifically. Everything else here he can definitely finish off. Like these weakened units of Minotaurs, because he's such a small unit model, they probably won't be able to get a great surround on him. He is likely to be able to finish those units, but let's see here. Gonna get a little bit of Benny Hill music as the chase ensues. Pops that Cascading Fire Cloak, and yeah, you can see how no problem he actually has breaking the Minotaurs. But instead, it's the Bloodletters. They can actually effectively surround him. They've got great melee attack and armor-piercing weapon strength. Even though they're anti-infantry role, they still certainly are going to do just fine here, especially with the Horn of Khorne juicing up their melee attack for that late game. Astrogoth down to just 45 melee defense. Yeah, weapon strength is one thing that does not go down with vigor, and you see those Bloodletters hitting hard as ever with their 23 bonus, the 23... Oh, actually, bonus versus infantry does apply. For some reason, I was thinking Astrogoth was large on his baby carrier, but he is, in fact, not. So, yeah, that bonus versus infantry actually does apply here. That +9 is going to be quite impactful. Yeah, along with the weapon strength. Astrogoth just not able to hold out super well against this. Cascading Fire Cloak will help him, and certainly he's able to do quite a bit of damage to the unit. Black Hammer of Hashut activated as well, but Astrogoth's leadership drops as he takes continuous damage. How about that? Clutch unit of Bloodletters right at the end. Wow. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking Astrogoth was large, but he is in fact only infantry size, which does make a big difference there. Allows that Bloodletter to come in and basically pays for itself only by killing him, pretty much. I mean, they did kill some other stuff too, it must be said. And just in general, Galrish's build is pretty well constructed for taking on what the Chaos Dwarfs can do. Only one Minotaur ends up paying for itself. The other two are a little bit, well, 200 kills, still tactically able to clear out some chaff, but obviously not the value you would want. But still, overall, great performance by most Khorne units here. Taco also, no slouch at all. Astrogoth able to get some respectable value on his own, and then all the guns I would expect pretty good value across the board, and we do see that. I think the one area where Taco lost out was the Bull Centaurs just trading so poorly, even though kind of expect them to lose. We would like to maybe get a little bit more value out of them. I think just a hair more value on each of these in their respective engagements, and that's probably enough to carry the late game. Hard to say, you know, definitely a very, very close game, and a few things probably could have changed it in either direction. But nonetheless, very fun game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button every time I upload a new video. You'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.